People like Super Fun 21 because of all the fun options.
We always have crowded tables with Super Fun 21.
I like dealing Super Fun 21 because the tips are great.
It's just plain super fun.
My name is Howard Grossman, and I've been called one of the toughest, most successful blackjack players to ever challenge the casinos. In fact, for the past 20 years, I've been a blackjack consultant to these same casinos. During my years of consulting, I was often asked to develop something different, a blackjack variation that would create more player excitement and bring in players who might not play standard blackjack, while at the same time provide increased casino profits and protection. Using my experience and incorporating elements to excite players and ensure casino profits, I developed Super Fun 21. Super Fun 21 isn't a new game, just a unique way of combining the most liberal options ever offered with single-deck blackjack, producing an exciting game with crowded tables, large drops, and high hold percentages. It also offers tremendous player appeal for both seasoned and new gamers with virtually no learning curve. The basic strategy is very similar to standard blackjack, and the game is easily monitored with all the players' cards dealt face up. This makes it easy to catch mistakes and virtually eliminates counting and card marking. This video is designed to help you understand, deal, and supervise Super Fun 21. After watching, dealers will be able to deal with a minimal amount of additional training and increase their tips because of the increased length of play and options. It is divided into sections on features, dealing, insurance and payoffs, and tipping. As we go through these, we'll also address the differences between Super Fun 21 and standard blackjack. Let's start by explaining the major features. As already mentioned, it's a single deck game. Dealing all the players' cards face up enhances the speed and protection of the game. Players may double down once on two or more cards for the full amount of the wager, even after splitting and hitting. Incidentally, being able to hit and double down after splitting aces is a really attractive and unique feature that has generated a great deal of positive feedback from players. There is a very liberal surrender option. After the dealer checks for blackjack, players may surrender with two or more cards on any unbusted hand, saving one half the bet, even after hitting, splitting, and doubling. Players may split all equal valued cards, including aces, 3 times, making up to 4 hands. Players may receive as many hit cards on the aces as any other split cards. There are also instant bonus hands payable even after splitting on any undoubled hand. Players will instantly be paid 2 to 1 with 5 or more cards totaling exactly 21, or 1 to 1 with 6 or more cards totaling less than 21. All player blackjacks are guaranteed winners, even if the dealer also has blackjack. Blackjack in diamonds pays 2 to 1, and all of the blackjacks 1 to 1 or even money.
The guests love Super Fun 21, primarily for the reason that it's friendly and it offers the guests more options on how to play blackjack.
Players really love the fact that with aces you can hit, split, resplit, and double down at any time.
It's easy to watch and protect Super Fun 21.
From the casino's perspective, Super Fun 21 has proven to be extremely profitable, outdropping and outwinning many other tables in the casino. Its performance has been excellent, it's been extremely popular, and we're pleased to have it at the Palms.
With all these favorable and attractive features, Super Fun 21 seems very beatable, allowing players to enjoy the most exciting experience in a 52-card, single-deck blackjack game. Let's review proper dealing techniques next. To make playing Super Fun 21 more enjoyable and fun, the dealer should describe the features of the game prior to dealing and at situations where these features may be used during the play of the game. This includes explaining that it is not a new game, but a more fun way of playing single-deck blackjack, where players may double down or surrender any time with 2 or more cards on any unbusted hand. All blackjacks are guaranteed winners, with diamond blackjacks paying 2 to 1, and all other blackjacks even money. If a player has 4 or more cards, the dealer should mention the possible 5 or more card instant bonus winners. The dealer should also demonstrate the signal for surrender, drawing a line on the table horizontally behind the player's bet. Shuffling and cutting are the same as any other single-deck blackjack game. Burn the first card while protecting the top of the deck. After all the bets are set, bring the deck towards the table and deal all the player's cards and the dealer's first card face up. Deliver the dealer's whole card face down in the same manner as any handheld game. Now we'll see how the unique features of Super Fun 21 enhance the game. To start, all cards from this point on will be dealt face up, which you will see as the game is being played speeds up the game and increases the protection because only the dealer handles the cards. As I mentioned earlier, one of the key features is the ability for the player to surrender and save 1/2 the bet. Our first examples will show how the surrender option works. The player has a 10 and a 6. The dealer shows a 10 and checks, but does not have blackjack. The dealer explains to the player that she may surrender now or after hitting and save 1/2 the bet. The player hits and catches an ace. Now, with a total of 17, the dealer again tells the player that she may still surrender. The player surrenders using the surrender signal and saves 1/2 the bet. Players may surrender even after splitting and doubling. Our dealer has a 7 showing. The player is dealt 2 deuces and asked to split. On the first deuce, the player gets a 9 and doubles down, catching a 5. The dealer tells the player that she may stay or surrender. Showing 16, the player decides to surrender. The dealer takes one of the double bets, which are always the same amount, saving the player 1/2 the bets. On the second deuce hand, the player gets a 3 and hits a 6. The dealer tells the player that doubling is allowed, and the player doubles, catching a 7. The dealer announces the surrender option, but the player signals she is staying. The dealer turns up a whole card of 10, making 17. Our player is a winner with 18. In this Super Fun 21 example, the player was able to surrender with 2 or more cards, saving 1/2 the bets, even after splitting and doubling. In standard blackjack, the player would not be able to surrender after hitting, splitting, or doubling, and could not double on more than 2 cards. Remember some of the other Super Fun 21 features we mentioned? Players may split all equal valued cards 3 times, including aces, making up to 4 hands, and the instant bonus winners for some 5 or more card hands. Let's see how these work in our next examples. Our dealer has an 8 showing. The player is dealt 2 aces. She places another bet, and the dealer splits the aces. On the first hand, the player gets a 2. The dealer reminds the player that she may take as many hits as she wants on any undoubled hand, even after splitting. If she makes a total of exactly 21, with 5 or more cards, she gets an instant 2 to 1 payoff, and that she may get an even money payoff with 6 or more cards, totaling less than 21. She hits and catches a 2, hits again, catching a 7, making a total of 12. The dealer again lets the player know that she may still surrender. The player hits instead, catching a 9, making a 5-card 21, which is a 2-to-1 instant bonus winning hand. The dealer deals another ace to the second ace, splits the aces, and the player is dealt the 3. The player hits a 2 and then a 6. With 12 showing in 4 cards, the dealer reminds the player that you may still surrender, but could also try for the 5 or more card bonus hands. The player hits a 3. The dealer lets the player know if she hits one more time without busting, she automatically wins with the 6-card bonus rule. Of course, the player may either surrender or stay instead. The player hits, catching a 3, for a total of 18. Because this is a 6-card hand totaling less than 21, the dealer pays the player even money, placing these cards into the discard rack. The dealer hits the third ace with another ace. Remember, in Super Fun 21, players may split all equal valued cards 3 times, including aces, making up to 4 hands. The dealer tells the player that she may split again, and the player does. The dealer deals a 10 to the first remaining ace. The dealer explains that she may double or stay. The player signals she is staying. Because this is a split hand, it is not a blackjack, just a 21 that will win or push depending on the dealer's total. The dealer deals a 4 to the last ace. The player hits and catches a 10. Showing 15, the dealer reminds the player that she may still surrender. The player decides to hit, is dealt a 3, and stands with 18. The dealer turns up the whole card of 9 for a total of 17 and pays both hands. Now let's recap what just happened. In Super Fun 21, all equal value cards may be split 3 times, including aces, making up to 4 hands. Players may receive as many hit cards on aces as any other split hand. On any undoubled hand, even after splitting, players will instantly win a 2-to-1 payoff with 5 or more cards totaling exactly 21, or 1-to-1 or even money with 6 or more cards totaling less than 21. All blackjacks are guaranteed winners, even if the dealer also has blackjack. Our dealer has a 10 showing. Blackjack in diamonds pays 2-to-1. All of the blackjacks pay 1-to-1 or even money. Remember, it is a win, not a push, if the dealer also has blackjack. In this dealing section, we've covered surrendering, doubling, splitting, 5 or more card bonus hands, and blackjack as a guaranteed winner. Now let's move on to insurance, player payoffs, and tipping, showing how they differ or are similar in Super Fun 21. In the beginning of this video, I mentioned that Super Fun 21 isn't a new game, just a unique way of combining single-deck blackjack with the world's most liberal options, producing an exciting game with crowded tables. This section will reinforce that statement because as we go through insurance and player payoffs, you'll see how the features are fun for the players and that the payoff differences center on features that players like, such as guaranteed blackjack wins instead of a push and the 2-to-1 diamond blackjack payoff. To understand the differences and similarities between Super Fun 21 and standard blackjack, we've also developed charts which are provided in your training manuals. We'll cover the dealing procedures and player profits for the situations where the player doesn't or does insure, with or without blackjack, when the dealer has or doesn't have blackjack. For explanation purposes, we'll use a $10 bet. As usual, when the dealer's up card is an ace, the dealer will call out insurance. After waiting for the players to place insurance bet, the dealer calls out insurance closed. In Super Fun 21, the dealer may pay blackjack before checking if no insurance is taken. Our first series of charts shows the player profit comparison when a player does not insure. If neither the player nor dealer has blackjack, the game continues the same in Standard Blackjack and Super Fun 21. If the dealer has blackjack and the player does not, in both games the player, of course, loses the $10 bet. In the Standard Blackjack game, if the player has a non-diamond blackjack, the player pushes if the dealer also has blackjack, or wins $15 if the dealer does not. In Super Fun 21, the player always wins, never pushes with a blackjack. With a non-diamond blackjack, the player always wins even money, or in this example, $10. In Standard Blackjack, a player with a diamond blackjack pushes if the dealer also has blackjack, or wins $15 if the dealer does not. In Super Fun 21, because of the increased and guaranteed diamond blackjack payoff of 2-to-1, the player always wins $20. The key to remember is in Super Fun 21, blackjack is a guaranteed winner, not a push, with diamond blackjacks paying 2-to-1 and all others 1-to-1. Now let's move on to charts explaining the differences when a player chooses to insure. Insurance in Standard Blackjack is usually treated, and in Super Fun 21 is always treated, as a completely separate side bet. Using $10 as our bet, in our examples, we used a maximum insurance bet allowed of $5, which is 1/2 of the original wager. The dealer calls for insurance, and after announcing insurance closed, checks for blackjack. Our first chart shows a situation where neither the player nor dealer has blackjack. In both games, the player will lose the insurance bet and the game continues. The next chart illustrates when the player insures with a blackjack. If the dealer does not have blackjack, the player in both games loses the insurance bet, but wins with the non-diamond blackjack. This is the only player situation when insuring where the player in Standard Blackjack wins more than in Super Fun 21. However, if the player has a diamond blackjack and the dealer does not have blackjack, in both games the player loses the insurance bet but always wins more in Super Fun 21 because of the 2-to-1 payoff. In Super Fun 21, if the dealer has blackjack, there is never a push, only a guaranteed win on both bets. The player wins twice as much as the standard game with a non-diamond blackjack, $20, and 3 times as much with a diamond blackjack, $30. Before we leave this section, I would like to mention that the situations are sometimes different for calling even money in Standard Blackjack versus Super Fun 21. Let's look at these even money differences. In Standard Blackjack, with a $10 bet, the player with a blackjack who takes insurance will lose the $5 insurance bet if the dealer doesn't have blackjack, but wins $15 on the original $10 wager for a net profit of $10. If the dealer also has blackjack, the player will push on the original $10 wager, but win 2-to-1 on the $5 insurance bet for, again, a net profit of $10. When a player has blackjack, the casino allows the player to call even money instead of insuring to speed up the game. Dealers may pay the player immediately before calling insurance closed. In Super Fun 21, the player with a non-diamond blackjack who wishes not to insure may also call even money because blackjacks are winners even if the dealer also has blackjack. Dealers may immediately pay the player $10 before calling insurance closed, just like in Standard Blackjack. To summarize, in Standard Blackjack and Super Fun 21, a player who does not insure with a non-diamond blackjack will always be paid even money. In Super Fun 21, if a player who does not insure mistakenly asks for even money with a diamond blackjack, the dealer may politely explain that diamond blackjacks are guaranteed 2-to-1 winners, or with this $10 bet, a $20 winner. In this scenario, the dealer can immediately pay the player $20 before calling insurance closed. So, as we said earlier, Super Fun 21 isn't a new game, just a way for players to enjoy blackjack much more, with guaranteed blackjack wins and a 2-to-1 diamond blackjack payoff. And relative to a player calling even money, you've seen how it works in both games. If you need to review this section further, the charts in your manuals cover all the information. Now let's move on to the dealer's favorite section, tipping. Tips in Super Fun 21 are handled the same as any standard blackjack game, except when a player either has instant winners, such as blackjack, or a 5 or more card bonus hand, or chooses to surrender. In these special situations, the dealer's bets are treated just like the player's bets. Here are some examples to make it clearer. A player has a $10 bet and places a $5 bet for the dealer. She is dealt an ace and the king of diamonds. Remember, in Super Fun 21, diamond blackjacks pay 2-to-1. Therefore, the player will win $20 for the $10 bet, and the dealer will be paid $10 for the $5 bet, for a profit of $15. With a regular blackjack, both the player and dealer are paid even money. If the player makes a 5 or more card 21, both the player and dealer bets are instantly paid 2-to-1. With the player paid $20, ending up with $30, and the dealer paid $10, ending up with $15. If a 6 or more card hand totaling less than 21 is made, both the player and dealer bets are instantly paid 1-to-1. Now let's look at tipping in surrender situations. If the player surrenders a non-doubled hand, the dealer's bet is also surrendered. On the $10 bet, the player ends up with 1/2 or $5, and the dealer on the $5 bet with $2.50. If the player doubles, but does not double the dealer's bet, and then surrenders, they each save 1/2 the bets. The player ends up with one of the 2 double bets, or $10, and the dealer with 1/2 of the $5 bet, or $2.50. If the player doubles, also doubling the dealer's bet, and then surrenders, they both save one of the 2 doubled bets. The player ends up with $10, and the dealer with $5. If a player splits, the dealer's bets are handled separately on each of the split hands in the same manner as non-split hands. Let's look at our last example. Our player has placed a $10 wager and a $5 bet for the dealer. The dealer has a 7 showing. The player has 2 6s and places an equal bet for the player and dealer. The dealer splits the 6s. The player on the first 6 is dealt a 10. The player surrenders. The dealer takes $5 from the player's $10 wager and takes the dealer's $5 bet, returning $2.50. The dealer places these cards into the discard rack. On the remaining 6, the player gets a 5 and places another equal bet for both the player and dealer, catching a 9 for a total of 20, and signals she is staying. The dealer turns up his whole card of 10 for a total of 17. The dealer pays both the player and dealer bets. That's the last of our charts and examples. As I've mentioned, they are included in your manuals for reference. During Super Fun 21 live action throughout the country, players have asked me many questions. you're likely to be asked the same questions as you deal the game. To help you respond, these questions and the answers are included in your manuals under a section titled Frequently Asked Questions. This video and the manual are designed to be your reference sources for answering questions and preparing you to deal and monitor Superfund 21. However, in the future, if you have any additional questions or need more information, we are an additional resource and support system. Feel free to contact us at the reach numbers provided.